Hi, Darren Gabbard here with your Best Horse Relationship. Welcome. In this episode, I would like to focus on a saying that you'll run across if you spend any time at all in that universe that's broadly defined as natural horsemanship. And it is a saying that talks about creating a connection between yourself and your horse. Put your heart in your hand and touch your horse with your heart. Now, it's obviously a metaphor, but it is a very powerful metaphor for us as humans because we understand that putting our heart in our hand represents everything that we are. The good, the bad, the ugly, the in and the out, the ups and the downs, warts and all, it is us. It is the essence of who we are. And to expose our heart in our hand is something that requires a lot of strength, a lot of surety on our part, because it is a vulnerable position that we put ourselves in when we extend our heart to our horse. But the great thing is that when we make that connection, when our horse understands what we are doing, when we are placing our heart in our hand and extending that and making that connection with our horse, there's usually quite a dramatic, quite a profound connection that happens. It can be transformative. And if you've never experienced it, what I would tell you, if you are trying to create the best possible relationship with your horse, if you've never experienced it, look for it. And if you've never experienced it, I will say that you're not going to be able to develop the best possible relationship until you do, until you make that connection. And again, it's a profound thing. It can be transforming. It can be life-altering. So, what's the downside? Well, there's always a downside to almost everything, and as usual in the horse world, if there is a downside, it's because of us as humans. And it comes when we as humans inconsistently express ourselves by putting our heart in our hand and touching our horse with our heart. And it comes typically when we as humans categorize things. And we do this in our lives, and it helps us certainly get from day to day to find out what is important, very important, not so important, possibly important, and then all the way at the bottom, mundane. And in our human lives, that allows us to prioritize what is important for us. And it allows us to put maximum effort, maximum energy to get maximum effectiveness out of the things and out of the situations that we deem important. And when we do that, now it's good for us to do that when we feel that something is very important. But putting our heart in our hand and touching our horse with our heart requires a lot of energy, a lot of determination, a lot of focus. And sometimes it's difficult to maintain that focus over a period of time. And so again, we prioritize, categorize. This is important, not so important, and then, all the way down to mundane. A little cold. But here's the thing. When we make that connection with the very important thing, and our horse feels it, they'll go, oh, finally, the human is expressing themselves in a way that is significant to me. And they make that connection. And then we leave it alone. We don't make that connection in other areas or at other times. But consider that nothing that we do with the horse is insignificant from the horse's perspective. Everything that we do has meaning. Everything that we do has significance. Everything that we do has value to the horse. And so we need to also express that significance, that value in everything that we do. We need to put our heart in our hand and touch our horse with our heart, even in those mundane things. And it can be tough. I'm still struggling sometimes with being able to do that day in and day out with absolutely everything that we do. I'm getting better, I'm getting stronger at it. But when we do it sometimes and then not others, it causes our horse to think, well, over here he's doing okay, but over here, he's not really expressing himself the way that I need him to. And I know that I've caused a lot of confusion in Cookie's mind because I don't put my heart in my hand, or because in the past I haven't put my heart in my hand and touched my horse with my heart when I'm doing the mundane things. All right, the mundane things are those little pieces that kind of all go together that get us into the more important things. Can you place your heart in your hand and touch your heart with your horse, or touch your horse with your heart when you are picking out your horse's feet? Can you do it when you have a brush in your hand? Right? You need to be thinking about doing that. You need to be thinking about involving that kind of energy, that kind of effort and focus and determination in everything that you do with your horse. You, as a human, need to be consistent. Not just for the very important things, not just for the middle important things, but even in the mundane things, even in those things that we typically don't think about as being important. They are important to our horse. They should be important to us. And we need to put our heart in our hand and touch our horse with our heart in absolutely everything that we do, in absolutely everything that we have in our hands. It's not so much a physical connection as it is an emotional awareness of what we're doing with our horse at all times. Can we do that with the reins in our hands? Can we allow our heart to be expressed through the reins and into the horse's mouth? You know, the horse's mouth is an exceptionally tender place. You know, there's one saying that goes, the reins are not for controlling the horse, the reins are for feeling your horse's thoughts. Think about that. Can you feel your horse's thoughts? And can your horse, when you're holding the reins in your hand, can he feel your heart? It's pretty significant. It takes a lot of energy, it takes a lot of effort on our part, but it is worth it. Because when we can become consistent, not just in the important things, but in the mundane things, by expressing ourselves, by putting our heart in our hand and touching our horse with our heart, then our horse is really going to make some changes for us, positive changes. And we will have that relationship that we're after. So think about that. Putting your heart in your hand and touching your heart, or touching your horse with your heart in absolutely everything that you do. Well, I guess that's about it. Until next time, as always, leave questions or comments below the video window. Go love on your horse, and we'll see you back here. Bye-bye.